9-5. Did you guys see the story from Nicole Auerbach today with the quotes from, or the revision from Todd Berry and the American Football Coaches Association? I'll take that as a
not a great sell job on the content.
Oh,
so
yeah,
tell
I
me
was all
more.
over it. Yeah.
So there is revised feedback on a transformation committee transfer concept. This is so wordy. I mean,
Will you say that again? Just say it again.
Revised feedback on an NCAA Division I transformation committee transfer concept.
And we wonder how we got here.
All right, so the transformation committee has suggested that there be windows in which you can use the transfer portal.
A good idea.
Yes. The AFCA had some early thoughts on this, but they've talked about it some more, and they've thought about it some more, and they have given us a paragraph with a bunch of run-on sentences that I think we can make sense of. The American Football Coaches Association's revised model for possible transfer windows in football has revised its feedback on a concept. Jeez. Let me see if I can make sense of this. 2 periods. One of them starts on the last Sunday in November and ends on the first day of the early National Letter of Intent signing period. So it starts on the last Sunday of November, and it ends on the Wednesday that is now National Signing Day 1.0. That's the first window. The second window is April 15th through May 1st. Two-week windows. So basically, from the final game of the regular season until the early signing period begins in December, and then from April 15th to May 1st. So you get a 2-week window at the end of the regular season and a 2-week window after everybody finishes spring practice.
You know what that'll do?
In which you can enter the transfer portal. You don't have to settle on a destination, but those are the 2 time periods in which you can put your name into the transfer portal.
You know what this will do? Largely nothing in terms of changes. Okay. You're still going to have players leaving because players are going to want to leave. But it will feel less chaotic. And what I've learned through all of these changes is people don't really want to know anything. They just want to feel something. So players are still going to up and leave your program. Good players in some cases, bad players too. You're still going to have a wide open free agency market with the quarterback position. All that's still going to exist, but it's going to feel less chaotic because it's only going to happen in 2 windows. It's going to get to a point where those windows are celebrated, where that's like a content piece, where it's like, hey, it's window day, windows open, get in the portal, let's talk about it, instead of the mass hysteria that we're seeing now. It won't change a thing. It's going to Ole Miss. Sort of Ole Miss.
That's not the, well, I mean, unless they fall under the criteria, I was going to point out. Why does that hurt Ole Miss?
Because they won't be able to pick off the Flyers like they just did with the UCF transfer. You've got another linebacker from James Madison who just hit the portal that everybody else kind of has their roster set, but because Ole Miss is leaving some spots open, they've got a chance to go get this kid who
if a player doesn't have to declare where they're going to go in that 2-week window, they just put their name in, then you can still take your time recruiting the players out of the portal as you want to.
But the flyer like this just happened.
Okay.
So fewer of those
I was going to say it hurts. It hurts the players on the teams that are part of the college football playoff who want to transfer. Because if your team is in the college football playoff, I mean, unless you're just absolutely not playing at all, then you're not going to put your name in the transfer portal between the last Sunday of November and the early signing period. You're going to have to wait until after the spring. And so it potentially costs you a spring at your new program. So, I mean, Alabama had a handful of guys, Georgia had a handful of guys that entered the transfer portal that clearly were not playing as much as they wanted to at those schools. They waited until after the national championship game was over. They put their name in the transfer portal, and they go find their new landing spots. Now those guys would either have to declare before the playoff or they would have to wait until after spring practice.